You're tuned to The Drive on your 24/7 home of the black and gold. Steelers Nation Radio.
Good afternoon, Steelers Nation. It's The Drive on the Steelers Audio Network. Wes Uhler and Matt Williamson with you here for the next 2 hours on a Wednesday. As we'll turn the page a little bit, start to look ahead more than look back. Another massive one for the Pittsburgh Steelers, of course, in Baltimore this weekend. Matt, just before the show today, I did like a quick little 15-minute podcast hit with our buddy Mick McQuaid.
Yeah, awesome.
The
Ireland,
Steelers Ireland, Pro Football Ireland guy. If you're a Steelers junkie, I'm sure you've seen or heard Mick on shows before.
Yeah, I've been on his podcast.
Yep, and he's been at the forefront of Irish NFL content for a while, and specifically Steelers Irish NFL content. And
he knows his stuff, too.
He knows his stuff, and he was asking me, what's it like? What's the mentality for Baltimore away? And I was laughing because, we say, we're going on the road to Baltimore. We're going to Baltimore, versus Baltimore, road game in Baltimore. In Europe, they'll say Baltimore away. The week before Christmas, we have Detroit away. The week after Christmas, we have Cleveland away. That's how they say it.
Yeah.
And so I was laughing.
Which isn't that much difference,
It's
but
not
it's a
that
little
much
nuance,
different,
right?
but I don't know. It kind of sounds like, hey, Sunday, you got Baltimore away. That makes it sound like a big rivalry and a big one. And it certainly is. And this
very important game.
This is a very important game. Big week. A few huge days of prep here for the Steelers. A new familiar name thrown into the mix on the practice squad as well. So we've got plenty to get to. But I wanted to start, Matt, with some fun, good news today to get us going.
Okay, great.
And that is, quite simply, something that we talked about.
Enough doom and gloom.
Enough doom and gloom. Something that we talked about, I can't remember if it was last week or maybe 2 weeks ago. I think it was. It would have been 2 weeks ago because last week was Thanksgiving and we didn't have a Thursday show, that we talked about with Bob Labriola 13 days ago.
Gotcha.
And that was LC Greenwood and his candidacy for the NFL Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
At that time, he had been named one of 10 semifinalists for the senior class, and we talked about how that would get whittled down to 3 in the next couple weeks and how we liked his chances, but there were still some really other big, talented, impressive names on the list.
Yeah. It's a good group.
Well, good news. Former Steelers defensive lineman LC Greenwood is one of the 3 candidates to become a finalist for the seniors category for the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2026, the furthest LC has ever advanced in the selection process.
That's pretty cool. And at the time, I thought we might be being a little homeristic here, in terms of he would have been, I think we both said he would be one of our 3.
He'd be one of our 3. We gave some props to Ken Anderson.
And Roger Craig, from what I remember.
And Roger Craig, yes.
Do you know who the other 2 are?
I know Ken Anderson was one of them. I'm looking for
Okay.
the other 2 right now.
Yeah, and I'm sure people, of course, I know they can still find it. That interview with Labs is pretty darn in-depth of what LC was, to a great 70s team, to the Steel Curtain, which was really, as Labs laid out, it's really the front 4. I mean, it kind of took the persona of the whole defense, but
he's right. The original Steel Curtain was the front 4.
Right, there's a banner of them, the painting.
Right.
100%. Purple People Eaters is not the whole defense. It was a D-line,
Exactly right. And over the years, that gets convoluted, and the entire and you understand that. But yes, it was that front 4, and everybody that you talk to with the history, the depth of knowledge of Bob Labriola, hey, we all know Mean Joe gets all the credit.
Yeah.
And a lot of people would even people would even tell you that on his best day, Ernie was the best of the group. Holmes was the best of the group. But that LC Greenwood was kind of the consistent, stabilizing, underrated, where would we be without that guy factor amongst that defensive front.
And they weren't, everybody ran a 4-3 back then. There weren't as much emphasis on edge pass rush as there is now.
Sure.
I mean, sacks weren't even invented, when LC came in the league. But he was really good at rushing the passer. Yeah. I mean, really good at rushing the passer. And maybe even folks that watched the 70s Steelers didn't appreciate how important that was, because I won't say he's ahead of his time. He's not the first one to ever rush the passer.
But a little bit in that regard.
A little bit in that regard, right.
He would be much more lauded and appreciated if he did what he did and won 4 Super Bowls in this era.
Yeah.
Where,
and they have a lot more sacks.
Where
People
after,
throw more,
after quarterbacks, edge rushers are maybe the second most talked about position group and highlighted position group in the National Football League.
We
see
that
game.
Where they go in drafts and what their contracts correlate. I mean, they always are high up.
And I know I'm saying this off the back of a corner, Pat Surtain, winning Defensive Player of the Year. But much like quarterback, if you look down the list of defensive players of the year, a lot like MVPs, it's mostly edge rusher. It's not quite slanted like quarterbacks are,
right.
but it's pretty close.
It's usually the guy that basically leads the league in sacks is definitely in the conversation.
Yes, like once a decade you'll get a corner. Once a decade you might get a Luke Kuechly type off-ball linebacker.
Paul Malu or right.
But it's for the most part it's the edge
Aaron
guys.
Donald, once in a while.
Yes,
special
an
guys,
interior stud on the D-line, good call. But, 7 or 8 out of 10 years, it's an edge rusher that's winning Defensive Player of the Year. Matt, it is Roger Craig, Ken Anderson, the other two to go with LC. So it's awesome that LC has made it this far. Like I said, the furthest he has made it in this process, but there will be just one of these 3 selected. So job's not finished yet, but it's nice to see him advance to this point and kind of continue that upward trajectory. 13 years as a Steeler, of course, a 4-time Super Bowl champion, as we all know. Had 5 fumble recoveries his very first year as a starter. Third year in the league, 8.5 sacks, career high 11 sacks in 1974. Both of those
double-digit sacks back then was a big deal.
In a 14-game season, they're only throwing the ball 20 times a game.
Yeah.
And it's a 14-game season.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a 16-game season. It's not a 17-game season. He has 12 and a half.
My hunch is those Steeler teams played with some leads, though.
Yeah, I think they were helped out a little bit in that regard. They had a little more help in that department, I think, than TJ or maybe Myles Garrett or some of these current guys. LC has 12 and a half postseason sacks. That's tied for 5th most in the entire history of the National Football League. Still.
Wow.
2-time first team.
I would never guess that part.
I wouldn't guess that part either. That's awesome. That's impressive. That's
playoffs are longer now. There's more playoff games being played.
Absolutely. More seeds, more rounds.
Right.
That's one of those stats.
Wow.
Good there. That was written by Teresa Varley in the Steelers.com article. Big shout out to her for having that one in there. That's one that whoever has to stand up in front of the group and give LC's case, that needs to be towards the forefront of the conversation.
It's still holding up.
This guy played in an era with less playoff games and less passing than now, and he's still in the top 5 in postseason sacks. 2-time first-team All-Pro, 6-time Pro Bowler, NFL's 1970s All-Decade team. Of course, part of the Steelers' all-time team.
Team's a pretty big
deal.
Yeah.
Big deal. And there is some weird stuff in there where, like, if you're drafted in the middle of the decade, it makes it. But still, to be a part of the NFL's all-decade team
is saying something.
Is substantial. I
wonder how many of those Steelers are on the old decade team. Got to be quite a few.
A
lot of Raiders and Cowboys
in
too.
In the 70s, I bet you it's primarily made up of 3 franchises. I was going to say. So awesome news for LC, and hopefully we'll get that final good piece of news. But great to see him advancing as a finalist, and hopefully this is kind of the floor for him now. And if he doesn't get in this year, it will happen eventually. So remember how it works. There's all these
10-3, right?
Yes, correct. 10-3, and then also to go in that group, they pick a contributor finalist, they pick a coach finalist as well.
That was Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
I wonder. I like Belichick's chances.
I wonder if they did that on purpose. Get both of those guys in at the same time type thing. I think Belichick has a pretty good chance.
I think he'll end up with a busting kid.
I think he might be in the National Football Hall of Fame one day in Canton. Yeah. So something that we promised you we would update you on. Good news.
Yeah, it's great.
Has advanced.
It's an honor in itself.
Total honor in itself. And now we'll wait, and we'll obviously revisit this discussion when we have final word.
One last thing I want to touch on this subject is Anderson and Craig.
Okay.
I'm happy that they're the final 3, in that I think they're the most deserving. But it's also, I'm not happy because that's the toughest competition for LC.
Absolutely.
You're kind of like one of those guys who have not quite been 4th on the list, or
Absolutely.
whatever. And super quick, people probably don't remember them. But Ken Anderson was very ahead of his time because he was a West Coast quarterback before West Coast was really official.
He was Bill Walsh's something before Montana.
Right.
He was Bill Walsh's date to the dance.
Yeah.
Before he
married
Montana.
Yeah, exactly. As the offensive coordinator.
He was his last date before he settled down and put a ring on Joe.
And was very, very consistently amongst the highest accuracy percentage. Get the ball out quick.
He was Andy Reid's Donovan McNabb before Patrick Mahomes. That's I don't know if that's a good example or not.
Along those lines, yeah.
He was really good for an iconic coach before that coach went on to win a bunch of championships with a new organization.
And
so I guess maybe there is some Andy Reid comparisons.
I guess not coincidentally, he did it with Roger Craig.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Roger Craig was part of those, the running back of those great Niners teams.
Early 80s Niners.
Doesn't get talked like Montana and Rice and Lott, but was a huge part of their success.
He was definitely one of the best backs in the league of that era when I was 10, 15 years old. He was behind like Dickerson and Marcus Allen,
sure.
But Walter Payton, but he was a top 5 type running back. And like Anderson, he was ahead of his time in that Anderson was like the part of the creation of the West Coast. Backs weren't catching balls
like that. They weren't catching balls out of the backfield he was
a massive contributor in the passing game.
Big time.
So Walsh had a lot to do with both those two. I hadn't put 2 and 2 together on that.
Yeah.
An awful lot for both.
Direct correlations for both of those guys.
Right.
One other kind of correlation, I don't think that we mentioned with Ken Anderson. Maybe we did 2 weeks ago when we talked about him for a few minutes. He was a Steelers quarterback coach once upon a time.
Oh, yeah.
Ken Anderson was.
I remember that. Okay.
So there is a Steelers tie there for him as well. Obviously not as direct as LC, but he was the Steelers quarterback coach once upon a time. But pretty cool for LC Greenwood. Furthest he's went in this process. I'm sure some of you right now are saying, hey, hold on a second. We also talked about Hines Ward in this.
Oh, right.
That's separate.
That's different, yeah.
I think we'll have an answer on that before too much longer.
Okay, whittle that one down, too.
But that one has not been whittled down yet. They're still in the semifinalist phase. So,
gotcha. Okay.
So for those of you out there wondering, like, they're not saying anything about Hines. Is that bad news? It's just no news to this
And the
point.
NFL's so smart about that. They'll spread it out so you talk about it twice. Right.
They do a great job of that. It is what has made them the biggest league, not only in this country, but in the entire world. Mm-hmm. And Matt, for those of us who work in the content business, we are quite grateful.
Yeah, good for you. Yeah. Keep giving us stuff to talk about.
Keep giving us plenty to discuss here. Let's take a break because we've got more to discuss.
Okay.
Asante Samuel Jr. now officially on the active roster. Adam Thielen, a familiar name, an accomplished name, added to the Steelers practice squad. And we've got a draft pick rookie, Dante Kent, with some moving and shaking.
I didn't know that one. Okay.
A guy that we haven't talked
about.
There's
some divisional news I'm going to throw out too.
Some divisional
that just
news.
Happened, yeah.
So let's get into all. We'll continue kind of. It's a busy news day here on a Wednesday, and we'll continue to comb over it and discuss it all as we roll along here on the drive. Uhler, Williamson, Steelers Audio Network. Lots of moving and shaking happening last night and today across the AFC North. We do have some significant Browns news to discuss in a few minutes, but let's stay in our own backyard here.
Sure.
Focus on the black and gold before we get to that nasty orange and brown. Matt, the Steelers, excuse me, I'm doing the hiccup thing again.
Oh, no.
I just took a big swig of coffee. And
somebody sent us a remedy too, right?
I was going to say,
I saw
we got a tweet
on Twitter,
from Joby, who was like, I can't believe you guys haven't heard these. They're called Hickaways. They're basically hiccup straws that you could get on Amazon that take away your hiccups really quickly. Might have to put those on the Christmas list.
Maybe we should have a little packet sitting here just in case of emergency.
We need a couple things, all right? We need some drive-themed Steelers Audio Network coffee mugs.
Yeah, that'd be good too.
Because and maybe like Yetis and stuff too, because you and I are always drinking coffee and water out of
as many of these as we go through these, right?
Nondescript coffee cups and red Solo cups for our water. So we need Steelers Audio Network, the Drive branded coffee mugs. If anybody with the authority or the power is out there listening, we could also use like some Yeti type things for our waters, but maybe some hiccup straws too to put here in the.
Yeah, you never know.
Especially if
you've had back-to-back days.
I don't know what coffee, man. It's just
So I don't
anything other than water like gives me the hiccups when I'm doing a bunch of talking.
Do you? Do you have any hiccup cures? You know, like there's like
Yeah.
Okay.
Plug my nose, plug my ears, so I start to talk very funny, and then just blow out. Just blow out.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Basically,
I mean, I could scare you. I mean, that's
my
good
mom
one.
used to do that to me, and I do that to my 4-year-old daughter now. Like, she gets hiccups a lot in the evening, and she'll use this as an excuse of like, oh, but I got hiccups. I can't go to bed. I won't be able to fall asleep.
Oh, right.
And so I'll be like, okay, sweetie, and I'll like go into the bathroom, and I'll come back out 20 seconds later, and I'll go, rah! You know?
I was a mean dad when my kids were that age. I used to scare them all the time.
Yeah.
I'd be like hiding around the dark corner. My daughter was probably like 5 or 6, and she was in the laundry room, like getting stuff out of the dryer. And I bounced around the corner. She fell into the dryer. That was great. I should have shut the door and turned it on.
I went yesterday. The girls were all excited. When I picked them up from school, I had 2 new sleds in the back of my car.
Oh, nice. 'Tis the season.
Tis the season. And, like sleds for them. Like, we have big inner tubes.
Mm-hmm.
But those are tough for a 2 and a 4-year-old.
It's like getting your first bike.
It's like getting your first bike and like there's no
without the
training wheels on it.
Yeah, I'm like I'm an adult now. Yeah.
So I went to Lowe's. I got 2 like nice kids sleds, one saucer, one like traditional, 2-person tandem one. Had them in the back of the car when they got in from school, and they were all excited and jacked up. And I was like, in the back of my mind, I was like, yeah, wait till I Crisco this thing up like I'm Clark Griswold, and I fire you down the hill. Then we'll see who's loving it.
I'm not going to do it on camera, but this is my uncle's hiccup cure: is you drink out of the wrong side of the cup, like this, and pour it down your throat.
Wait. So like I would drill a hole in the bottom?
No, instead of drinking from this lip, you drink from the outside lip, like this.
Oh, how do you do that and not spill it all over yourself?
I've seen him do it. I'm not doing it on the air. I was
gonna say this segment everyone needs to watch on YouTube. Okay. I'm trying to.
I've heard like drinking through a napkin or like a Kleenex.
That defies physics. I don't know how you can even.
I've seen him do it.
Impressive.
I don't know.
Most impressive. He must be.
Maybe it's just try this and watch you dump coffee all over yourself. That's a pretty good trick too.
Pretty good one. That sounds like something that they do to you at like a summer camp or like a team orientation.
Yeah, pull my finger.
That's good, healthy hazing right there.
Anyway, we got stuff to discuss.
We do.
Division,
Hiccups,
right?
all these things. Steelers have made multiple roster moves. So we discussed a little bit of this on the back end of the show yesterday, but let's revisit it. Everything's official now. It's been announced by the team. It's not hearsay or reports anymore. Darius Slay has been waived. He has been released. With that, Asante Samuel Jr. has been added to the practice squad. Okay? Or elevated from the practice squad. Let me start that again. I'm thinking about hiccups here too much and drinking coffee backwards. Darius Slay has been waived. He's been released from the roster. With that, Asante Samuel Jr. promoted to the roster from the practice squad.
Yep.
With that, now a practice squad opening. The Steelers signed wide receiver Adam Thielen from the Minnesota Vikings.
Yes. They grabbed him off waivers, right?
Grabbed him off waivers from Minnesota. So we had done plenty of discussion about Asante Samuel Jr. We even talked about this a little bit yesterday. What I really want to know...
we touched on the Slay stuff and all that,
Yeah. What I really want to know, Matt, is your thoughts on Adam Thielen. 35 years old, hasn't played a ton this season. I think has... 8 receptions for 69 yards in 11 games. But he is obviously a guy who at one time was a great wide receiver in this league.
Was.
Multiple-time
Pro
Pro Bowler.
First time with the Vikings.
Yes, first time with the Vikings with Stephon Diggs. Those two were one of the most fearsome tandems in the National Football League for a few years. What to expect here? Is this just like a shot in the dark, needle in the haystack type move? Or do you think
mostly?
Or do you think that there could be some role for him on an offense that's really struggling to find pass catchers?
So the Vikings just let him go. And I'm certain why they let him go is their season shot and they want the young guys out there. So you do your guy a favor.
And they've got a nice wide receiver room.
They have a nice receiver room. You do your dude a favor who's from that area and he was, originally a Viking. Let him go to a team that will actually get him on the field. Or maybe, because the Vikings aren't going anywhere. They're not going to play the 35-year-old whose contract's expiring. They have nothing to gain by it.
Correct.
Sort of true before that is where his stint in Carolina. Carolina had drafted Leggett, Tet McMillan, Coker's a guy they like a lot too in his second season. So they had this youth movement at wide receiver as well. And Thielen kind of helped teach those guys the ropes for a while a little bit, but they didn't have room for him either. Of course, he doesn't play special teams, which doesn't help his cause either. So he can't Hayward Bay it late in his career and run down, so he's not going to do that. He's always been a route runner. He's always been a really crafty dude, more slot than outside.
Yes.
But I'm talking about his best days.
Yes.
But, in two receiver sets, him and, Diggs would be the outside receivers, of course. But more slot-oriented. Decent size. He's not huge. Now, he doesn't run great anymore. He's not explosive anymore.
I'd be surprised if a 35-year-old did.
Yes, exactly. But he knows exactly where to be, and some of the issues that Rodgers has had with receivers this season of adjusting routes on the fly, reading coverages, getting all the hand signals, well, he's going to be 1,000% on those things.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. I'm sure he'll be a good role model / influence in the wide receiver room because he's very fundamentally and technically sound. He knows every trick of the trade. And those guys tend to fade away slower. If you're only a size speed guy, or if you're just based on speed and all of a sudden you start aging and you rip up your ankle or whatever and you don't have it anymore. So he does have some of that old man at the Y rebounder game to him. Especially against zone. I think man was going to give him a hard time just getting off press at this level, NFL corners. But he's very smart about sitting down in zones. He's reliable. He's going to catch it if you throw it to him. I haven't watched his 2025 tape. Again, he hasn't been on the field that much, and I've had other things to do, clearly. But I am intrigued. Will he be active this week? I don't know. I would think that's a long shot, but I want to bring that up to Chris when we talk to him later, too.
Yeah.
To snoop around a little bit when we're down there. But it's kind of like a reliable whoopee for Aaron Rodgers on his 42nd birthday. Here's your birthday present,
Yeah, I think it's about all you can do at this moment. In December, late into this process, trade deadline came and went, a month ago. This is about it. And I think there's, they tried this a few weeks ago with MVS, with Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Yeah. Is he still in the practice squad?
I believe he is.
I think so, yeah.
I believe he is.
Similar type move. I was going to bring that up, but I thought to myself, is he still around? Yeah.
So I think there's some tea leaves to be read there.
Yeah.
Of if they would have liked what they saw from him in practice over the last couple weeks, maybe he'd be getting elevated or getting an opportunity. He'd go out and try again with somebody else,
I think there's something to be said for both those guys being experienced receivers that know how to win in this league and will be on the same page with Rodgers. And I don't think it's been a huge problem. I don't think he's mad at Austin or Wilson or et cetera that they're dumb, they can't get it or anything like that. But I also think their lack of size is not helping matters, having both those dudes being smaller guys, because Thielen's always played bigger than he's listed. Valdez-Scantling is a 6'3", 6'4" type dude. I don't know. I don't know if either one will even ever see the field or not, but I would like Thielen's chances more than Valdez-Scantling's, I would say.
I agree. I think especially the way that kind of this timeline has played out here.
Yeah.
And it would just with
you would think if Scantling, if he was
if they were impressed with
about
MVS
him,
and excited about him, they would be maybe bumping him up to the active roster or not going out at least and trying to sign another wide receiver to the practice squad.
Thielen's way more sure-handed too.
Yes. Yes.
So why not? Again, you have nothing invested in it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It doesn't cost you much. I wouldn't even say it's a low risk, high reward, but it's a low risk, some reward.
Yeah. He might catch passes for you.
Asante Samuel Jr. feels like a low risk, high reward.
Yeah, he may be a starter.
He could
years,
end up starting for you for the next 3-4 years, 5 years if this goes well. Whereas, hey, you're hoping to just maybe get some last juice to squeeze out of Adam Thielen, a veteran wide receiver who's done it at a high level for a long time in this league.
And I don't think it's any secret. They can't be thrilled with their receiver room right now.
I wouldn't think so.
Right.
Wouldn't think so. So yeah, those are all kind of
They all make sense to me.
Things that will continue to keep an eye on here.
What'd you
Matthew.
mention with Kent? I'm intrigued with him too, Dante Kent.
Yeah, so that's what I was getting to here now.
Okay.
He, as of today, this was posted by the Steelers a little after 1 o'clock today. Cornerback Dante Kent returned to practice. He will remain on the reserve injured list, designated for return, activating that 21-day window for the remainder of the season. He was placed on the reserve injured list all the way back on August 28th. Of course, was the Steelers.
Yeah. So he didn't play any preseason. Or did he get hurt in the first preseason?
I was going to say, I think he played.
Okay,
I think he played a little bit.
Played some.
Yeah. I think he
late August would definitely be preseason.
Late August,
yeah.
So I think he did. And he was a guy that I think they were impressed by what they saw at training camp.
Yeah.
Like he was getting a lot of spin, a lot of opportunity.
We kept talking about him more and more.
And more. He's involved in special team stuff. He's involved in defensive stuff. Yeah, he's a 7th-round pick, but they seem to be giving this guy plenty on his plate for a 7th-round rookie and seeing how he can handle it. So now he's back to practice. Good news there. Who knows what that means for him the rest of the season?
My hunch is he'll never see an NFL field this year.
But if you can at least get 3 weeks of practice for him before the end of the year, great.
Or if someone gets hurt between now and then, and they did just move on from Slay. I mean, they're definitely looking for special teamers, and maybe in 2-3 weeks they'll need him.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. The second they drafted him, I had never heard of him, and that happens in the 7th round.
Yeah.
And then the more homework after the draft, I was impressed. He was a really good tester, ran a really good 40. He's not particularly big or thick, but he can play some outside corner, at least at the college level, and projects to. But I would think he's more of a slot, sort of an undersized slot.
And that's how they were using him during training camp and the very, very little that we saw.
He has some punt return. You mentioned special team. He has some punt return and certainly has real gunner qualifications. I mean, I think that might be where his bread is buttered in this league, like how Pierre started his career, something like that. But again, I mean, when we got to camp, there's always 5 or 6 guys whose name you just start saying more and more when you're watching practice from the booth or whatever, and he was one of them. And when I remember he got hurt, he was on my, I'm glad he'll be in Latrobe next year conversation.
It's like this might work out well longer term.
Yeah.
As frustrating it is
glad
for him
he's
in the
still
short
around.
term.
Right. Because I didn't know if he could even make the team on the original roster. And,
you and I have that conversation. We'd have it with Dale. We'd have it with Moats, with whoever. Like, we all have this conversation of, okay, who's probably not going to make the team, but you hope they're back here in Latrobe again next year.
I'd love to see him next year, right?
And he was one of those guys.
Yeah, and maybe he's even going to be accelerated from that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you would take that all day. You'd be thrilled with that, I think, in fact.
Yeah. So maybe he's got a chance to be part of the final roster next year.
Maybe, exactly right.
Which would be a win.
Exactly right. It'd be a big win, I think, absolutely.
For a 7th-round pick, right.
For a 7th-round pick. And good news that he's back at practice.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that.
And we'll at least have 3 weeks here to start to get acclimated and acquainted with his teammates once again.
Yeah, it means he's healthy. By the way, his recoveries must be going well.
Exactly right.
Everyone just assumes these guys all recover the same and they're fine. And right.
No, there's no doubt. That's why we talk about injury setbacks and things of that nature all the time, right? Matt, let's get to our final break of the first hour here.
The last note was Deshaun Watson's window got opened.
Oh, that's right. I knew there was something I was forgetting.
I don't know what to make of that. But, I mean, even at the beginning of the year, people told me there's a chance he sees the field. I thought Flacco, Pickett, the two.
Yeah.
I mean, like, as if it wasn't crowded enough when the season broke. Flacco, Pickett, and both draft picks. And Watson, who's, by the way, this massive elephant in the room that's making $1 bazillion.
Yes.
But like 10 minutes ago, they opened up his practice window. I have no clue what to make of that, but I thought it was noteworthy.
I certainly think it is.
Yeah. I thought he may never throw a football again. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of it.
I don't know what to make of it either.
Right.
I mean, I do feel like I remember back in July or August or sometime in that training camp time frame where I almost said Dante Kent, where Deshaun Watson was like, I want to play football again. I want to play football this year.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I remember him saying that, but it was kind of like,
I thought so. And I'm like,
okay.
Does anybody want you to play football?
They just drafted 2 quarterbacks
right.
and they traded for Kenny Pickett and they've still got Joe Flacco around.
Yeah.
Well, all of a sudden now Pickett's gone, Flacco's gone. Maybe maybe that's kind of the onus for him is like, if I can get out there for the last couple games and maybe that gives me something going in the future. I don't know. Maybe Cleveland would want to see him in the last couple games too. To
maybe
see if there's
looks,
anything there.
maybe they're hoping he looks phenomenal, looks like the Texans version, and it ends up being a good trade. As I snicker to myself,
Yeah.
But I thought that was very noteworthy.
Maybe it'll elevate as not being the worst trade in NFL history.
I thought he might even get to the point like, you're not invited to the facility. I mean, he must have been sitting in quarterback meeting room all year.
Possibly.
And working out or whatever.
Certainly. Yeah, certainly. Right. So that's another thing that we'll keep an eye on, especially with the Browns on the docket a few weeks from now.
Oh, wow.
Whoa. Could we see Deshaun out there in the cold December weather at Huntington Bank Field Stadium in a few weeks? We shall wait. And we shall see. Although I guess that's the weekend after Christmas, so that's still 4 weeks away. Right in the middle of that window if he were to get activated.
Yeah, he could be on the field.
Oh, that would be surprising to say the least. Let's take our last break here of the first hour. When we return on the other side, we kind of mentioned that we would do this yesterday, just didn't have time to get to it. Let's talk some playoff scenarios across the AFC, across the NFC, and specifically for the Steelers and the Ravens this Sunday. Baltimore away there at M&T Bank Stadium. We'll do all that when we return to wrap up the first hour of the show. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson, it's The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Down the home stretch here of the first hour, and it's time to talk some NFL playoff scenarios, the NFL playoff picture here entering Week 14. Wow, Week 14 already, man.
I know.
You know, has anyone ever said this? But it's really like the road is narrowing right about now. Has that ever been said before? Has anyone said this? Have you heard this? Have you heard about this?
And the other thing people say all the time, too, is like the league and covering the league and being in the league is a grind, but we were talking about Latrobe. I felt like 5 minutes ago. You know what I mean?
So I do agree with you, but it's a weird dichotomy, maybe is the word I'm looking
for. But
for.
the Jets game feels like 100 years ago.
In a lot of ways, Latrobe and the Jets game feel like yesterday. In a lot of ways, they feel like 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. It's a very weird. I'm sure you can relate to this as like being a father of two children.
Yeah.
Like my daughters are now like 4.5 and 2.5. And in some ways, it feels like they were born yesterday. In some ways, it feels like they were born 20 years ago.
Oh, it's not like 1,000%. Like, man, I was a much younger man when my college freshman.
Right.
Making news, by the way.
How about that? Yeah. So Matt's son, freshman at the University of Kentucky.
Yeah, I threw it on Twitter, so it's not like it's a big secret or anything. Right.
Got to take a couple half-court shots yesterday at the Kentucky UNC game in front of 20,000 people at famous Rupp Arena for a half-court shot for $10,000, and he actually got pretty close.
He did.
He got pretty close, man.
I don't know how he got picked. But
That's the story we need to find out.
He was thrilled just to go to the game. It's his first ever Kentucky game. And they're playing UNC. It's
Top
like
20 matchup.
Incredible. Yeah. Right. So he's texting me as he's walking in. And I guess Rupp Arena's put a lot of money into it. I mean, like he's like, it's the nicest arena I've ever been in. And he's like, I'm going to be the biggest Kentucky hoop fan ever.
Yep.
In football, they're not.
Sure.
They're not so much.
But basketball, I mean, they are amongst royalty.
I mean, they've already lost 3 games now. They lost to UNC, Michigan State, which I heard about from Pursuit.
Of course.
And Louisville, a huge battle, too. But they're all like top 20 teams.
Yeah.
But they're like burning couches and bad things in a bad way right now because they've already lost 3 games. But anyway, so he was super psyched to go. It was his first ever alma mater college game.
It's awesome.
And he would have went other times, but he was
and it's
home.
It's not against some Bemidji State.
Yeah.
With all due respect to Bemidji State, it's against the Tar. I mean, that's
right. I mean, a big time program.
That's like
right.
Texas and Ohio State in football.
I actually watched it. They kept calling it a blue blood game.
Yeah.
Right.
Texas and Ohio State.
Vital was there.
It's
right.
That's Michigan and Oklahoma. I mean, that's like
packed to the gills
stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So like I said, Dick Vitale called the game. Yeah,
right.
So he's just texting me as he's, as it's starting and as he's going in, how psyched he is. This is better than I thought, Dad. Kentucky hoops forever. I'm in. And then he texts me like, very shortly after. He's like, oh, and I think I'm going to shoot a half-court shot for $10,000 at halftime. Or so it wasn't halftime. It was before or whatever. I'm like, he's lying. He's
just full of it.
I'm like, LOL or whatever. Ha, that's hilarious. And he never really wrote back. and then sends a video of him doing it, and he did pretty well.
He did.
Yeah.
He did much better. I would have been bricking it, man. I would have
made one.
Freshman,
That's what I told him. I was
there,
like, great, but I would have made it.
Top 20. I would have.
He got 3 shots.
I would have hit the poor popcorn vendor like way off in the left corner or something.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even been close.
I'm shocked they gave you 3 shots for
That's pretty
$10,000.
That's pretty good.
I don't know how he got pulled out of the student section, but
That's
he was
the
there
part
with
of the
his
story
buds.
that we have to hear. That's awesome, though. That's so cool.
So the first
love
2 videos were his buddies filming it
Like
from
the
their
student
seats.
section, yeah.
And then I guess somebody from Kentucky filmed like him walking on the court. Cheerleader gives him a ball, and he's doing a lot of this. You know,
he's like
all
hyping up
he's
the
all
crowd.
wound
It's
up.
awesome.
Right. Air ball's the first one. Second one was like as close as you could get to knockout.
It was about as close as you
it
could get for a
rattled
half-court
around in
shot,
there.
rattling around.
And then the second one, the third one was an air ball too, but they weren't like bad air balls.
No, they weren't. They were air balls that were like 6 inches away from the rim. I mean, you know, like.
And he's 6'5", but he played a lot of pickup hoops like I did, you know. But
that was pretty cool. And hey, as amazing it would have been for him to win the $10,000, obviously. Pretty still.
It's a
awesome,
win either way.
An awesome story and an awesome for your first ever college game.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
that's
pretty cool deal.
Very cool.
So yeah, I threw it out on Twitter, and I also put it on Facebook too. But you know,
I like how he's all in for Kentucky hoops. He's gonna be give him a few years. He's gonna be a sicko like Mike Pursuta and I, just walking around talking about his alma mater all the time.
Yeah. I'm sure. I think he is now with hoops. I mean, how could you not be totally wrapped into that?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll get big into Kentucky baseball because I think they're pretty stinking good as well. Matt, let's talk some NFL playoff pictures here. The road is narrowing. Week 14.
Thursday's a huge game.
Thursday is a massive. The Battle of Texas, right?
No, Thursday is Dallas at Detroit.
Or sorry, Dallas at Detroit is Thursday. Yeah.
Because the other one is Houston, Kansas City.
The other one is Houston, Kansas City.
And they're almost the same deal. Like if Dallas or Kansas City loses,
see ya.
It's basically done for them. And the other ones, it gets real tight if you lose that game. You know,
yes,
the 2 Texas teams.
Yes, it does.
Or no, you got me confused. Detroit or Houston.
Detroit or Houston,
yeah.
Yes.
But they have massive ramifications. I mean, obviously Steelers-Ravens does too, but for different reasons. That's more for the division as opposed to conference implications.
So let's start with the AFC slate, since that's the Steelers and that's the Ravens and that's where we're at. And that's where the high-leverage affairs are on tap for this Sunday, this week 14. Steelers at Ravens, right? The number 9 seed in the AFC currently against the number 4 seed. 92 percentage points combined leverage in terms of how it affects their probability. 92% swing in this one.
Wow. Win or loss.
Win or loss.
Yeah.
92% point swing combined for playoff odds. Texans, number 8 seed at Chiefs, number 10 seed. 75-point swing there. And then Jags, 3
I really like
seed.
Houston's chances if they win.
I love Houston's chances if they win.
I think they might be the best team in the AFC right now.
They could at least certainly be the hottest. Jags, number 3 seed Jags at number 6 seed Colts, 52%, 52-point swing.
Okay.
In this
that might
one.
be the first of 2 with them, like the Steelers-Ravens. Because
I get what you,
I think, I'm not sure if they've played yet. They might have 2.
Jags and Colts, I believe, have 2 more still.
I think so, yeah.
Still to come.
I
here.
know Bears-Packers do.
They've both played the Texans already once, but I don't think have played each other yet once, if I'm remembering correctly here. So right now, Patriots are on their bye week, so they're not really factored into this, but they have a greater than 99% chance to make the playoffs.
Yeah. Boy, what an advantage now to have those late buys.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And a 36% chance to be the 1 seed. Broncos also greater than 99% chance to make the playoffs.
Yeah. They're basically in.
48% chance to make the 1 seed. Even if they lose, they still have a 96% chance to make the playoffs, even if they were to lose this week. So for the Patriots and the Broncos, it's really just 1 seed
They'll
battle.
start battling for, they'll lock up a division probably here in a couple weeks.
Yes. The Jags are the 3 seed right now in the AFC at 8-4, and with some tiebreakers, they have a 79% chance to make the playoffs. Wow. If they beat the Colts, that number rises up above 95%.
I say that has to really skyrocket.
If they lose, it only falls to 67%.
I knew they were still in pretty decent shape with the loss. They've put a lot of money in the bank.
They have.
I think they have a lot of AFC wins.
They've got some good tiebreakers.
Yeah.
They're kind of the opposite of the Chiefs in that regard.
Yeah,
they've
that's
got
so important.
So important. And they've got that going for them. So the Jags are in a good spot, especially if they win. They're in a great spot. But even if they lose, they've still got a strong opportunity to go to the postseason.
That's something I tend to bring up early in the year that people don't think about, or people will even tweet me sometimes to be like, a loss is a loss, Williamson. Like when the Steelers lost to Seattle, I'm like, it's not as bad a loss as you think, folks. Like losing to a conference, the Bears game.
You said that like way back when. Everyone's saying that now, but you said that way back when.
Yeah, you have to think about those things in September too. They all mean the same. But I mean, you lose a conference game, it hurts you. I mean, everyone knows a division loss hurts you bad, but losing to an NFC team isn't that big a deal. Like
you would have much rather beaten the Bills than the Bears. Like if you could have one
Bills
of the last,
or Bengals rather than
if you could have one of the
Bears
last
or
two
Seattle
games back.
Yeah.
Like you'd much rather have those back than Chicago and Green Bay, and that's just the nature of the tiebreaker scenarios.
It's like beating the Colts was really beneficial.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Ravens at 6-6. They are the 4 seed, currently a 69% chance to make the playoffs. You see the massive swing here. If they win on Sunday against the Steelers, that goes up to 84%. If they lose, it drops all the way down to 38%.
So the one thing I saw today, that kind of stat pack that the NFL sends out, I steal a little bit from there from Matt Stats, but it's like a game preview. I didn't realize, and you know how I like strength of schedule more for like the Warren Sharp way of looking at it and win totals. But if you look at the Steelers' schedule, just in terms of winning percentage against the Ravens schedule is much, much harder in terms of current records of upcoming opponents.
They still have to play. They still have to play Green Bay and New England. One of those is on the road. I forget which one. I think maybe they host Green Bay and go to New England. But the Packers are going to be desperately jockeying for playoff spots. And
Yeah.
The Patriots, while that one's towards the end of the year, they're going to be in the hunt for the number 1 overall seed in a bye. It's not an easy. You look at the Steelers' schedule and it's tough the rest of the way, but it's the same.
Like I think Miami's better than their record.
Yes.
Detroit's not playing great.
No.
And they could lose Thursday.
That Detroit game looked incredibly daunting at the beginning of the season. And I'm not saying it looks easy or anything like that now.
No, the Steelers would be a dog.
The Steelers would be a dog, but it's not as daunting as it looked in August or September, whereas Miami's gone the opposite way. That looked like an easy win, and now it seems like it's going to be a tough one against a team who, I mean, other than the Texans, might be playing as well as anybody in the AFC right now, and those maybe Patriots and Broncos too.
The reason I bring it up is if the Steelers lose Sunday but win the other one against the Ravens, the games in between might favor Pittsburgh more than Baltimore.
Yeah. Good point. Very good point.
If either one of these teams sweeps the series, they're winning the
almost
division.
guaranteed.
Yeah, they're winning the division.
Yeah. Chargers are the 5 seed, currently a 61% chance to make the playoffs. If they win on Sunday, it goes up to 76%. If they lose, it drops to 50%. The Colts, 6 seed, 8-4, 72% chance to make the playoffs right now. This is that big swing with Jacksonville. It goes all the way up to 86% chance if they win and beat the Jags at home. Only drops to 55% if they lose.
Yeah. I'd be starting to get a little concerned, though, if I'm Colts and Chargers. Especially Chargers.
I'm feeling a little bit better with the Chiefs feeling like they could go by the wayside because there's a chance, I think, that of like the Chargers, the Colts, the Jags, and Houston, all 3 could make the playoffs. I still think that's a real possibility. And then the Bills are your other wild card team unless somehow
maybe only one out of the West.
Yeah.
I don't think that's crazy talk, especially if the Chiefs lose this week.
Exactly right. So, again, we'll see. But then Buffalo, 7 seed, but they currently have a 90, but they have the third best odds.
They're going.
They have the third best odds in the AFC to make the playoffs behind the Patriots and the Broncos. If they win this week, it goes all the way up to 96%. If they lose, still 79%. I think Buffalo's going.
Yeah.
Now, here's where it really gets interesting for the bubble teams. The 8 seed Houston Texans currently at 7-5. If they were to win, 63% chance to make the playoffs. Or sorry, pardon me. Right now, 63% chance to make the playoffs.
I say a win. I would thought it would have been higher.
If they win, Matt, it's an 85% chance.
Wow.
If they could take care of business at the Chiefs, because I think part of that is eliminating the Chiefs from the equation.
Yeah, that's a huge part of a lot of this.
85% chance to make the playoffs. If they lose, 49%, about 50-50.
So they're competing with 4 teams instead of 5. Or,
yes.
With a win. But they started 0-3.
Impressive. And they lost C.J. Stroud for multiple games in the midst of this winning streak, this hot streak. Steelers, the 9 seed, currently 31% chance to make the playoffs. If they win, that number goes all the way up to 62%. If they lose, it falls all the way to 15%.
Wow.
And then finally, the Kansas City Chiefs, the 10 seed right now in the AFC, currently a 35% chance to make the playoffs, which is wild to me that they have a better chance right now than the Steelers, because there's no way they're winning their division, but whatever.
Yeah.
If the Chiefs win, 49% chance to make the playoffs. If they lose, just 11% chance to make the postseason. Okay.
Do you agree that only one team's coming out of the North?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's pretty clear now.
I'm almost like willing to write that in blood.
Yeah, I think that's pretty clear right now.
That there's just going to be one team in the North, and I think there's going to certainly be 2 in the AFC West or East. Pardon me. Yes,
for sure.
New England and Buffalo.
And I think there's at least 2 in the South.
Oh, at least.
Yeah, at least.
But yeah, and then it comes down to the Chargers versus the 3rd place team in the South. It feels like for that final wild card spot.
Unless Kansas City goes crazy.
Kansas City, which could certainly happen.
It could.
But they need to start with a victory against the hot Houston Texans this week and go from there. Matt, first hour in the books. When we come back to start hour number 2, you want to take a look at the NFC playoff picture? Is that all right with you?
Sure. There's some cool stuff there too. The North is wacky.
Hour number 2. We're going to do that. We're going to do Around Campus, and we're going to talk to our buddy Chris Halicke. So plenty to get to in the back half of the show. Halfway home, Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson. It's The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Good evening, Steeler Nation. How we doing? Well, that's good. Us too. Hour number 2 here on a Wednesday, as we are going to continue talking about playoff pictures around the National Football League before we get into some college football, college quarterback, college prospects, NFL draft talk here when we go around campus. And, of course, we will catch up with our buddy Chris Halicke for all the latest moving and shaking on a busy 24 hours for the Steelers as it relates to their roster.
Eventful,
So, Matt, we talked AFC playoff picture in the previous segment. Let's spin the block to the NFC side of things here. The Bears, the current 1 seed via a tiebreaker over the Rams. But it is funny, despite being the 1 seed, I mean, their playoff odds are much lower than a lot of these teams. But but the NFC picture is not as convoluted as... It's a little more chiseled in stone at this point.
Yeah, that road's narrower, in terms of who's out there. What's crazy about the Bears is when the Packers, they play 2 of the next 3 weeks. They play this week.
It's awesome.
In between, and then they do it again.
It's very AFC North of what they've got going on. And that's, I think, did we talk about this? Maybe was it yesterday or a couple days ago, where like the NFL's figured out a lot of smart business decisions.
Oh yeah. Now I don't always love it.
Agreed.
Like especially that was 2 years ago when the Steelers had all their AFC North stuff late.
Yeah, last 6 games of the year, 8 games of the year,
I'd
whatever.
like them a little more spread out.
I would too, but I also, from the NFL's perspective, you put the rivalry games at the end of the year, that keeps everybody's attention.
Mm-hmm.
You add the 7th seed and the extra regular season game, that keeps everybody in the hunt longer. You're still selling tickets, you're still selling merch, parking passes, getting people to tune in and watch.
I mean, Thanksgiving, Black Friday were 8 pretty premium teams and really good games. Now, they probably have tried that in years past, and it doesn't work. Burrow's hurt or whatever,
Sure.
But it worked out where all of them mattered a lot.
Yes, they did.
And Dallas and Detroit are going to be out there.
Yes. And so the NFL is not a billion-dollar enterprise for no reason. They've got to figure it out, and while it might not be always the greatest from our perspective, it is what's best for business, and that's what the Shield is always going to do, and they have certainly mastered that over the last handful of years with the schedule and the way it's laid out.
Oh, yeah.
The Bears currently the 1 seed, 76% chance to make the playoffs. They have the Packers this week. Is that right? Is it the first one's this week? Yeah.
This week, and then a game in between, and then do it again the following week.
So if the Bears win, their chance to make the playoffs goes all the way up to 93%.
Wow.
If they lose, it only drops a few percentage to 70%.
I don't think it hurts them as bad as you'd think.
They've got some good tiebreaker stuff going on.
They do.
In Chicago. 10% chance at the 1 seed for the Bears.
So super quick, we're going to mention a mock draft, and if the draft was held today, the Patriots would pick 32 and the Bears would pick 31. I mean, who had that on their dance card? You know what I mean? Like,
when you lay it out like that, man, nobody had that.
Nobody had that on their dance card. Wow, you know.
In fact, if you would have said probably one of those teams is picking 30 or getting a 1 seed,
one of the 30s,
people would have been like,
"No way!
What were you drinking before you came on air?"
And who knows? I don't know. Either one's going to go to the Super Bowl, but as of right now,
still way ahead of
exactly
ahead of where they thought they'd be. Rams, the 2 seed, 96% chance to make the playoffs. 98% chance if they win this weekend, only drops to 89% if they lose.
Lock them up.
And they have the best odds at the number 1 seed in the NFC at 36%.
And they lost last week, but I don't care. You know, they're still the best team in the league.
Number 3, the Philadelphia Eagles. 95% chance to make the playoffs. Goes to 98 with a win, only 89 with a loss. But this is the real kicker for Philly is they've only got a 9% chance to get the 1 seed now, which is behind the Rams, behind the Seahawks, behind the Bears, and behind the Niners even.
The Niners are really interesting. We'll get to them in a minute. But, I mean, the best thing Philly is going for them is the division they're in. You know, like they're basically – some of these teams are basically locked up their division. But they're not playing great. I mean, if they were in the wild card hunt against, like, Detroit right now, I'd be worried. Right, yeah.
Speaking of division winners, the Bucks, the 4 seed, because they are ahead on a half game on Carolina right now.
Okay.
84% chance to make the playoffs. 88% if they win. Only drops to 74% if they lose. Basically no chance to be a 1 seed.
No chance to be a 1 seed. Right. But they should be a little nervous.
I think they should. Like, I was just about to say it's weird because I'm fairly confident that the Bucks will win that division and make the playoffs.
But they could stumble.
And Carolina's not going away.
Yeah. Some good news today, when it just makes me happy as a fan, too. Mike Evans' window is open again, too.
Love that.
And Bucky Irving's back. Yep. Godwin's starting to look a little better. So they could be trending in the right direction.
They could do one of those proverbial, like, limp into the playoffs.
And be dangerous.
But then be dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, if you're Seattle and you got to go there for the first round for that 4-5 matchup, that's not great.
And they've had some playoff success the last few years.
They sure have. And they've been for 5 straight years, so they're familiar with what it takes.
Coach and quarterback are used to it.
Yep.
And, right.
Number 5 is those Seattle Seahawks. Locked in. The only question is, can they get up to a 1 or 2 seed? 93% chance to make the playoffs. Only falls to 85 if they were to lose this weekend. 22% second best odds at a 1 seed in the NFC.
Okay. They still have the Rams, which is huge for them.
Yes, and I do think it'll be one of those 2 that ends up with the 1 seed, Seattle or LA.
Agreed. But you mentioned this a lot, rightfully so. If they are second in the division, they're great on the road.
Particularly on the East Coast.
Yeah. I mean, we got to go to Philly. We got to go to Tampa. They'd probably go to Tampa.
They'd probably go to Tampa.
And they'd probably be favored.
And I think they definitely would be. As much as they might not want to see Tampa if they get healthy at the right time, Tampa definitely wouldn't want to see that team rolling into town for a wild card weekend. 6 is the Bears at 8-3-1. They're pretty locked into 89% chance to make the playoff. Like, of all the teams in
the Bears?
You know what's hilarious? The Bears have I
thought we talked about the Bears already.
We did, because they're the 1 seed. Yeah. Of all the teams in the NFC, this is what's hilarious, though, because the Bears currently are the 1 seed.
Yeah.
The playoffs started today. They'd have the first round bye. But of all the 7 teams in the NFC playoff picture right now, they have the lowest odds to make it.
Oh, I bet. Because they have a tough schedule. They might not win the division.
They might not win the division. I mean, the Packers are only a half game back.
Okay.
With that overtime, with that tie.
Green Bay beats them this week.
So, like, the Packers have an 89% chance as the 6th seed. The Niners have a 90% chance as the 7th seed. Bears are the 1 seed and only have a 76% chance. It's kind of funny in that regard. But Green Bay, 12% chance to get a 1 seed. Even if they were to fall again, still 75% chance to make the playoffs. They're going.
Still in pretty good shape, yeah.
And another team who I think is definitely...
Are you saying the Packers have the best chance in the North to go to the playoffs? Or to the Bears?
No, just to go to the playoffs. The Bears 76%, the Packers 89%.
Okay, as it sits today, what's in front of them? Green Bay has a better chance to be in the postseason than Chicago.
Yes.
Okay.
And a better chance at the 1 seed, too, according to the math.
Even though the Bears are currently the 1 seed.
Even though the Bears are currently the 1 seed, yes. Okay. Now, if the Bears were to win on Sunday, obviously that flips that whole thing on its head.
Then they could lose 2 weeks from now.
Right. But what's hilarious, too, despite being the 7 seed, the 49ers, last one in, still a 90% chance to make the playoffs. No factor this week because they're on their bye.
There is, though, because they benefit greatly by either the Packers or Bears losing.
Sure.
So they get to sit home. They improve their stock this week no matter what by sitting home. My co-host explained this to me because he's a Locked On Niners guy.
He's the Niners guy,
yeah. He's like, they're going to be in a better spot for the playoffs despite not playing.
Wow.
Which is pretty cool. You're just sitting there resting everybody in the latest bye week of the year, you know.
Good spot to be.
Yeah, they're in nice shape.
Really
They're going.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost impossible. The 3 teams in the West are going.
Yes.
I mean, you can lock that up almost. Which doesn't leave much.
Doesn't leave much, and here's what it looks like now for the quote-unquote bubble teams, if you will. Mm-hmm. The Detroit Lions, 8 seed at 7-5.
They should be very worried.
Just a 43% chance to make the playoffs.
I get it.
I mean,
we'll talk about the Thursday nighter on Thursday, but there's a big chance they lose to Dallas.
Absolutely. Even with it being at home.
Oh, yeah. They're 3-point favorites, but that's as far from a lock.
And as we kind of paint this picture, let's bring Dallas into the equation here.
See, I think Dallas and Cincinnati are similar to me. I think Dallas is better than Cincinnati, but if Cincinnati could have, traded for Flacco 2 weeks earlier, or if Dallas trades for Quinnen Williams 2 weeks earlier,
you're probably singing a different tune.
Yeah. No one's playing better than Dallas right now, but I just don't think they put enough in the bank. They need way too many good things to happen, and they could get eliminated basically Thursday.
Tomorrow, Cowboys host the Lions. Not quite.
I thought it was in Detroit. Am I wrong about that? Might be in Dallas.
Sorry, no, you are right.
Okay,
sorry,
okay.
It's in Detroit. I said that wrong. Lions host the Cowboys Thursday night.
Okay.
And again, I mean, other than
not a short week for either.
No, and it's got similar Steelers, Ravens, Texans, Chiefs type.
Very much so.
Swing here.
It's close to a loser leave town match.
Pretty much, and the numbers back that up. For the Lions, if they win, they have a 58% chance to make the playoffs. If they lose, 23% chance.
58 even isn't that great with a big win.
Cowboys.
I think I know this is going to be drastic.
Even with a win, 31% chance to make the playoffs. If they lose, 6% chance. See ya.
Yeah, they're very much in the mode now. That's why I said they're too little too late, is they need so many other people to help them, and it's hard with who plays who.
Panthers are on their bye week right now, Matt. Rooting for, I'm sure, the Bucs to drop one.
That's probably all they care about is just
they've got
Buck losses.
They 18% chance for the Panthers to make the playoffs. I think that should be a little bit higher.
Yeah, right. I mean, all they got to do is outplay the Bucs in the win-loss category.
That's it.
The rest of the way.
It's kind of like Steelers-Ravens. It's like 2 dogs, 1 bone. And I'm not saying in an elite, outstanding kind of way, but I'm saying one of them has to win the division.
What I don't know, and obviously we would know about the Steelers and Ravens haven't played yet. I don't know what Carolina, Tampa's head-to-head situation is. I don't think they've played both yet. But those odds imply to me that Tampa must have beat them head-to-head already.
I believe they did.
Which means Carolina will have to beat Tampa in the other game.
Yes, you are. I believe.
I'm pretty sure that's true.
I do believe that's true. I can pull it up here and double-check real quick, but that sounds right that they did beat Carolina earlier in the season. No, they haven't played yet. They still play twice.
So they both have twice.
Get this.
That's huge.
2 of the last 3 weeks of the season they play.
Wow. Okay.
So it's kind of like what the Packers and the Bears have going on right now, but not until week 16, 17, 18. So the Bucs go to.
So they're almost the same situation as Steelers-Ravens.
Very similar.
I mean, almost nothing else matters than the head-to-heads. I mean, if someone goes 2-0 in those games, forget about it.
December 21st, the Bucs go to Carolina, and then that last weekend of the season, the TBD Saturday, Sunday games. The Bucs host the Panthers. Oh, that's going to be fun to watch that play out.
That's juicy, man.
That's real juicy.
Yeah.
I love it. Matt, just to paint the picture before we close this exercise down here, to paint the picture for you of what we were talking about earlier of how the NFL has done so well of keep everybody in it. Mm-hmm. Parity, keep everybody in it, sell tickets, sell beers, sell merchandise, sell parking passes, get people to watch at home and help the TV ratings. You want to guess, as we sit here today, and this could change tomorrow, but as we sit, actually, I don't think it will technically change tomorrow. As we sit here today, it's in December, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're past
we're in
Thanksgiving.
December now,
We're in December. You want to guess how many teams have been mathematically eliminated from the playoff equation across the NFL?
4 or 5?
5.
Wow.
There are only
Tennessee,
5. Tennessee and the Raiders, and then
Browns?
Arizona, New Orleans, Giants.
I guess Browns could still win the division if some insane thing happened, I guess.
Right.
Well,
It would take something.
A 1%
again,
chance or something.
The Browns and the Jets, you can probably go ahead and eliminate. The Commanders, you can probably go ahead and eliminate.
Right,
but
they're
haven't
not mathematically
been eliminated yet,
Okay.
which is wild.
So how many did you say 5 are total?
Yeah, 3 NFC teams: Cards, Saints, Giants, 2 AFC, Raiders, and Titans.
Okay. Yeah, and we're into December and the snow's flying and right.
27 teams mathematically could still make the playoffs.
Wow.
Like, that's nuts.
That is
and that's
nuts.
exactly what the NFL wants.
That's exactly what they want. They want the week-to-week league.
I think you and I had this conversation at some point a few months ago, and like I've said this, the NFL didn't really have much to learn from like the NBA and the NHL. It's the other way around. Those leagues could learn from the NFL. But one thing that the NFL learned from those leagues is
more playoff teams.
Why is there so many hockey teams? Why is there so many basketball teams that make the playoffs? Half the league makes the playoffs. Yeah. Because it sells more tickets, because it sells more parking, because it sells more jerseys, because it keeps people watching through the very end when they know that their team still has a chance.
Yep.
And the NFL has really
just makes the math
done that
a lot more complex.
Makes the math a lot more complex and fun for us to talk about, and keeping some of these fringe teams mathematically hanging around.
The one thing I want to mention too, I mean, just because it was on top of my head before, the Packers tie, I think, helps them a lot too. Because remember how we were saying how the Packers seems like they have an easier road.
That basically will help them with their tiebreakers.
Yeah.
If they've got the same amount of wins as somebody, but they have a half loss less.
Mm-hmm. So maybe that's why they have a better chance than the Bears.
Like one of the years that the Steelers had a tie, I don't know if it was like the 2018 season, like AB and Lev Bell's last year here, if it was maybe the COVID year where Mason filled in for Ben on late notice and they tied Detroit. One of those years that the Steelers had a tie in the last decade, I feel like that
did it work to their favor?
Worked to their favor down the stretch. I have to go back and look at that, but for Green Bay, it's better than a loss, in terms of a tiebreaker scenario.
But I think that's why they were. I was a little shocked when you said the Packers numbers. Like, they're in better shape than I thought. I think it's because of the tie.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Mathematician Matt. Let's go around campus when we return a little bit. We're going to switch it up a little bit this week.
It's a good week to do it.
Campus. It won't be just a pure quarterback conversation. We'll explain the how and the why when we return on the other side. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson. It's The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. It's time to go around campus here as we are getting, right on the verge of conference championship weekend. After that, Matt,
you're psyched, huh?
I'm so pumped for Saturday.
Games,
Listen, if you're looking for Wes Uhler Saturday, go to every sports bar in Baltimore that's showing the college football championship games, and you'll find me somewhere. I might even be dragging along TV with me, a couple other people. I'm psyched for conference championship Saturday this weekend. And then, of course, the playoff shortly after that, Army-Navy shortly after that as well.
Which is awesome, too.
Yeah, always a great time of the year for the sports calendar. College football is getting down to the playoffs. NFL, the road is narrowing, right? You've got a bunch of other college hoops, NBA, NHL, all flying at full speed. It's a really fun time of year to be a sports fan. And with that, Matt, we're going to go around campus here for our kind of what has been a quarterback conversation pretty much exclusively. Like, I think we might have mentioned I think we spent a few minutes talking about guys like Caleb Downs and Jeremiah Love in past weeks. But
a little bit.
You sent me, we both really like Dane Brugler. He is
tremendous.
He's the lead draft expert for The Athletic. If you are a SNR junkie, I guarantee you've heard Dane on our shows during the Combine before.
Oh, yeah. Dale and I have referenced him 8,000 times.
You and Dale would reference him a million times.
Right.
We would always get him to come and join us, whether it was because usually we'd do like those 3-man weaves at the combine,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So some of the years he'd come on and it'd be like you and Moats and I. Other years it would be you and Dale and Starks, or me and you and Dale. But comes on with us the combine about every year for the past decade. Puts together the Beast, which is
unbelievable.
The best, I think, NFL draft guide every single year if you're trying to learn about the up-and-coming prospects. I mean, he talks to these guys like middle school cafeteria
The background stuff
cooks.
in itself
It's
is worth your time.
outstanding. And I want to kind of, like I said, we're going to change gears a little bit today, and I want to go through some of his mock draft stuff here and how that relates to the Steelers. But I wanted to ask you, Matt, you sent out a tweet last weekend that caught old Wesley's eye. You tweeted about Arch Manning and him being the first overall pick. Arch, I forget what the exact tweet was, but it was like,
I think he'd be the first overall pick if he declared.
I think Arch Manning would be the first overall pick if he declared.
Yeah.
Which, if you would have said that back in July and August, no one would have looked at you crazy.
No.
But now, like, his name has... And
if
you
I
and
said 2 months ago, everybody would look at you crazy.
Right. And you and I think, over the last 3, 4, 5 weeks, have done a good job of mentioning him and saying he's playing much better. He hasn't been at the forefront of these conversations, but he's playing much better. So what did you see Friday night, pardon me, not last Saturday, last Friday night, as his Longhorns beat the number 3 and undefeated at the time team in the country, Texas A&M? Has Arch Manning reemerged as an elite NFL draft prospect?
Well, first off, and this will tie into the mock, I don't envy Dane for trying to figure out what quarterbacks to put in and what not and all that stuff. Who knows?
No chance.
And we'll learn more a couple weeks down the road, post playoffs, who will have a better chance of going and who doesn't. And I don't study these guys like Dane. I mean, as of now, I'm much more of an NFL scout than college scout. But I watched a lot of Arch. I've watched him here and there, and I'll study him more, of course. But the answer to your question, what did you see? Extreme talent.
Traits.
The best I've seen of any of these guys. I mean, Mendoza's really impressive, but he's not the traitsiest first overall pick I've ever seen by any stretch. I mean, actually probably the low end as first overall picks go. Yeah. Manning is such an athlete, and I don't mean just because he's fast and runs well. He's so balanced, and his body type and his strength.
It's impressive. It really is.
I heard people talking about his core strength, and you can see that on the field, and his arm angles and his ability to throw the football a multitude of ways and a lot of different layers. And frankly, if he came out, how do the Saints or the Raiders not take him? And who we kidding? If his last name was Uhler or Williamson too, maybe it wouldn't be. But the owners are going to have a lot of impact with who's the first overall pick.
Especially if it's the Saints involved in this conversation.
Especially the Saints, right. The last time they took a quarterback in round 1 was his grandpappy.
Which is crazy.
Which is nuts, But if I'm the Saints, I'd give up everything to play to go to 1 from 3 or whatever to get them right,
Which wouldn't be, probably your third overall pick and your first pick from next year.
Yeah, right. And the seats would never be empty in New Orleans again, too. But again, there's just a safeness of, I don't want to miss on my first overall pick. And the chances of him missing is a Manning. And maybe I'm oversimplifying things, but he's extremely talented and he's a Manning, I guess is the short answer. That to me screams first overall pick like it did a year ago.
His traits are undeniable.
Yeah.
The size, the athleticism, the arm strength. I mean, he's the quarterback that you build on Madden.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And while there's a lot of quarterbacks to like in this draft class, there's no Trevor Lawrence nailed on this guy. There's no Andrew Luck nailed on this guy. No Cam Ward nailed on this guy's going to be the first pick.
Yeah. The kind of the way I looked at it was, I don't want to put like saying in there yet.
Sure.
I mean, the guys that could come out this year, how many of them could be a first ballot Hall of Famer? Arch.
You know
what I mean? Like when you really shoot for the stars, who could be as good as Peyton Manning? Not the same style, but who could have as good a career?
Is Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Arch. I mean, others could hit it. Sellers could put it all together. But like if you had to bet on one that goes to the Hall of Fame, not like an occasional Pro Bowl or wins a Super Bowl here and there, but like it's an all-time great, I'm putting my chip on that guy, I think. And that's what I'm shooting for.
And you think much more like a scout in these exercises than I do, just because of your back.
I just know what people are looking for. Yeah. Like I can't not take that guy.
Yes.
I mean, when it comes down to it and I am on the clock or I've finally made my decision and, boy, this dude from Indiana is a nice player. Really like Mendoza. Love talking to him. High floor. But what if I got to play against Arch for the next 12 years and I didn't take him? You know, I want that guy.
That's a great point. According to Dane Brugler, Arch Manning still seems likely to return to school next season, but he could shake up the 2026 draft class by turning pro. A lot to watch going on there in Texas. What happens with his head coach, Sark, who's been rumored around some NFL jobs, will play into this. But, you know, if it's a money thing, I'm sure Texas will find a way to make him happy or to make him whole.
But if he gets word that he could be one, you at least got to strongly consider it.
Heck yeah.
Right.
Heck yeah. So here's what Dane has for...
Yeah, the Titans have the first overall pick if it was today.
Yes, but what Dane has is the Browns packaging their 2 2026 first-rounders to move up to get Tennessee's number 1 pick.
Which to me is a huge win for Tennessee.
Massive win for Tennessee. Right. And it would make sense for if you're Cleveland and you have the 6th pick and the 26th pick.
Yeah, well, they have the Jags pick. Yeah. So, yeah.
Let's say 6 and 25.
Yeah.
Like, give me one. Let me go get my quarterback of choice.
Yeah.
And then from Tennessee's standpoint, it's like we don't need the quarterback. Heck yeah,
we need everything else. Right.
Pick.
Give me an edge rusher and an O lineman or a receiver
I was just
or whatever.
Gonna say, give me one on each side of the trenches.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? So he has Cleveland trading up with Tennessee first overall to draft the aforementioned Fernando Mendoza, quarterback out of Indiana.
I would totally get that.
I would too.
I wouldn't bat an eye if you told me that Mendoza was going to be the first pick in the draft.
Wouldn't shock me.
Wouldn't shock me.
He has the Raiders jumping up a few spots from 4 to 2 to leap the Saints to draft Dante Moore, quarterback from Oregon.
Okay. Now, I would not love either one's chances of being successful
in their scenario.
In those two scenarios. I mean, the Browns, there's not much around him, but the Raiders in particular. Raiders and Saints, to me, have miserable rosters.
Miserable.
I would strongly consider, if I'm either one of those teams, building the nest first. You know,
that's my thing, is like Vegas is in a weird spot in that conversation because, hey, I think any young quarterback we're going to give you Brock Bowers and Ashton Genty. You'd be like, sweet.
That's a good start.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
But the offensive line might be the worst in the NFL.
Although I think part of that's coaching, but
it is.
Yeah, I mean, because it was starting to show signs until this regime took over. So maybe they'd maximize their talent more.
Maybe.
But the Saints, I mean, like when you look at Genty and Bowers are the best examples. But if you look at the Saints roster and the Raiders roster and say, who are my real building blocks? They're the fewest in the league.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I mean, like, who's going to be here in 5 years with my quarterback? You know, like, you might need more of them first.
Like, if I'm Vegas, stay at 4, give me the best offensive lineman in the draft, and then I'll worry about my quarterback next year.
Maybe. Because I know I'm going to be bad no matter what next year.
Right.
And there's no chance either one of those teams is good next year.
No chance.
Which, to me, if we get to pick 3, the Saints don't take a quarterback. I'd give Shuck another year, maybe.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Except I don't love these position players at the top. And I have to do more homework. Like, I want Myles Garrett. I want Baselli or Pace. You know, like some of these other guys. The blue chippers, to me, aren't great in this class. Who's the best receiver? Who's the best tackle?
You know what? It's funny because
not this rare guy.
They're weird to evaluate. So, like, for example, he has Arvell Reese from Ohio State going 3rd.
He looks pretty darn special, though.
He could be. So, and you know, I hate this. When you and I are at the Combine in February, I'll say this same thing again 5 times. I hate it when here comes a power-hitting right fielder, and everyone's like, he's the next Aaron Judge. You know, like...
Right. The Micah Parsons thing's going to be...
Here comes a great shooting guard, point guard, and he's the next Steph Curry. Like, let's compare everybody to the greatest.
Right,
you know,
it makes me crazy.
Makes me crazy because it's like...
I was joking about it in football. I'm like, oh, it kind of reminds me of Jim Brown.
You're really...
come on.
You're like really, really, really putting a lot of pressure on this guy to... You know,
he's a bust if he's not as good as Micah Parsons. You know, like, come on.
Exactly right. But when he Reese reminds me of Micah Parsons. He can play on the edge. He can play off ball. You can move him all around. He's an athletic freak. He can bend and overpower you on the edge. He can run with you in the middle of the field.
I think he's what
might
I've
be
seen,
the best defensive player.
and I
in
can't wait to
college
watch
football.
Saturday. I think they have the two best defensive players on
With Caleb Downs as well.
him and Downs too.
They might.
But Downs won't go as early.
They might.
From what I've seen of Reese, I think he's a better prospect than Parsons was.
Ooh, I
now
get what you're
remember,
saying.
Parsons sat a year because of COVID.
He sat a year because of COVID.
And he played a lot of off the ball stuff. You know, not
Mostly
smart,
off the ball
mostly
stuff.
off the ball stuff. But in terms of what they were like on their draft day, I prefer Reese.
Okay.
Now, that doesn't mean he's gonna be as good.
Sure.
You know.
Sure. I need you
But
to.
if he goes third overall, he should send Mike a fruit basket too, though.
Yes.
You know?
Totally.
Yes.
I need you to watch some Ruben Bain tape, the edge rusher from Miami.
I watched a lot of Miami Pitt. I've seen Miami a couple times. I think he's very good.
You're right.
None
though.
of these guys have been special to me, though, except for maybe Reese and Downs. You know, like the other, they're just the blue chip talents here to me aren't blow my doors off. But I'll be honest, I do this every year. I used to joke with Dale. This time of year, I'm usually a little down on the class, and then I start digging in and I warm up these guys more and more.
For sure.
You know, right.
I maybe kind of similar to last year. The top 2, 3, 4, 5 picks don't blow me away.
Yeah, like I don't see Jamar Chase and
But
Penei Sewell.
behind that, I love it. From like 5 to 15, I love it.
Oh, good.
I
Okay.
love that second tier of
That's
guys.
cool. Like, again, like I don't see Alt or Sewell.
Agree.
You know what I mean?
Agree.
Like,
Or Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
Agree.
Like these are no-brainer
But
at premium positions.
Like, for example, he's got Caleb Downs going 10th to the Bengals. Caleb Downs at pick 10 would be outstanding.
Yeah. But that's all just based. We did a whole segment on this on the podcast today. Like Love, Downs, and Sadiq, the tight end from Oregon.
Sadiq is the
are
tight end
all,
from Oregon.
to
yeah.
me, really premium prospects, but they're kind of like Genty and Hamilton. What are you going to pay for a running back, a tight end, or Bowers?
Yeah.
Like they're all premium prospects, but their position is why they fall.
So
Kyle Hamilton was the 14th pick in the draft.
Let's kind of like run because we got just a couple minutes here until we got to get to our buddy Chris Halicke and wrap
I do have a
this thing
Steelers
up.
question for you on this too.
Okay. Carnell Tate, first wide receiver off the board at 4 for the Giants. Could certainly happen. I prefer Jordan Tyson from Arizona State, but he has him going 7th, so just a few picks later.
That's another thing. It's like the receivers are all good. It looks like a very good receiver class, and this could be very Steeler relevant. But there's not one that
There's not
stands
Jamar
out.
Chase.
Yeah.
But I think there's a couple like Tet McMillans.
Yes, exactly.
Ruben Bain, who I mentioned to you, the edge rusher from the U, he goes 6 to the Commanders. Get this, Matt. Then a trio of players who I all saw in the Big 12 have their way with my Mountaineers. Jordan Tyson, 7 to the Jets, although he didn't play in that game. He was injured, the wide receiver from Arizona State. David Bailey, the edge rusher from Texas Tech, who I think is sick.
Yeah.
To the Arizona Cardinals at number 8. And then Spencer Fanu from Utah. I know we talked about him a few months
both
ago
Utah
in this exercise
tackles could be in the
because I
first
saw
round.
both
Yep.
Utah tackles down in Morgantown, and they could both be first-round picks. And Spencer Fanu becomes the first offensive lineman off the board at pick 9 to the Rams. Caleb Downs 10 to the Bengals. Jeremiah Love 11
By the way,
to the Vikings.
if you're the Rams end up with a premium corner and a premium tackle in this draft. I mean, and they might win the Super Bowl.
I was going to say, if you win the Super Bowl and then at pick
and you
9,
get the best
you can
left
get the
tackle
best
in the
draft.
right.
Get out of here.
Right.
That's the kind of greed they speak about in the Bible there.
I mean, that's how you do it.
Jeremiah Love, 11 to the Vikings. That would be a great pick for them. He might be the best player in this draft.
I would hate it.
He might be the best player in this draft.
I know, but I would hate it for the Vikes. I would not take a running back with that quarterback situation
Well,
the way
I
it
get
is.
what you're saying in terms of, like, if this is the case, go get a quarterback, right?
Right.
Dolphins take Mansour Delaney, the outstanding corner from LSU. Kenyon Sadiq, who we talked about, the tight end from Oregon, replaces Travis Kelce and goes to Kansas City. That would be a
How about right now? Kansas City picks 12, right? Or
13.
13? That's nuts.
Right now, the Steelers pick 14, and Dane has Ty Simpson, quarterback from Alabama.
That's what I was going to ask you. You asked me a lot of things. I want to ask you this. Would you trade, not knowing where the Steelers are going to pick on December 3rd or whatever
For
it
Ty
is?
Simpson?
Yeah. Would you trade your first-round pick right now for Ty Simpson?
I don't think so.
Okay. I mean, when it comes down to it, you might have to give up 2 firsts to get him.
Good exercise. Ask me again, like after the SEC championship
I'd say
game
Monday,
this
you might be
weekend
like, yes.
and a couple playoff games. But he's been trending. If you would have asked me that a few weeks ago, I might have said yes. He's been trending in the wrong direction.
That's why I think it's interesting. You
And
trade the first round
at this
pick
point, too,
now.
for this exercise, the only 2 quarterbacks off the board have been Mendoza and Dante Moore.
Mm-hmm.
So I might say, no, I'll take my chances on Sellers or, whoever else.
I know. It's a tough question today.
It's a tough question today. It's a fair question today. And it's definitely worth consideration, but I think I would lean towards no.
I mean, I know you wouldn't trade this year's first and next year's first for Simpson.
I would not. No.
But would you do this year's first?
I don't think so. I'm leaning towards no, but I'm like 60-40 no.
Because it's also a chance Steelers are picking in the 20s, too. They could.
Sure.
You don't know where they're going to pick.
And then it becomes a different conversation.
Right. Or they could lose out and they're picking 8th, and then the pick's more valuable. Yes. There's a lot that could happen.
That's like a good, if we could have Dane Brugler on as a guest right now, I'd like to ask him that.
Yes.
If you were the Steelers, would you give up your first round pick? I'm assuming he would if he has the Steelers taking him at 14. He obviously feels pretty highly.
When we get to draft season, we're playing this game too. Would you give up whenever we know where the Steelers are picking and what this class is?
I love this game.
Are we giving up this year's first and next year's first for said NFL quarterback, Josh Allen? Yes.
Love this game.
Yeah.
Just
to kind of
this
see
game.
what you're shooting for,
Yes, I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. Only 3 quarterbacks in his first round mock.
Yeah.
Mendoza 1, Moore 2, and then Simpson 14 to the Steelers.
Yeah.
Interesting.
A lot of receivers, a lot of tackles,
a lot of
edge guys,
a lot of tackles, and a lot of edge guys.
Not uncommon.
Which, hey, I guess the receiver department, the Steelers, I think could certainly use some reinforcements
I would
there.
think they add somebody at receiver.
I think some good corners in this draft too. Which, depending on how Asante Samuel looks down the stretch, what they think about Jalen Ramsey, could certainly factor in as well. Let's. I enjoyed this. This was a good change of pace
fun,
today for around campus.
We'll buzz through mocks.
We absolutely will. Matt, let's go back to kind of where we started. All this roster moving and shaking, a lot going on for the Steelers. Let's talk about all that and more with our buddy Chris Halicke on the other side to close this thing down. We'll do that when we return right here on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. To the phone lines we go to wrap this thing up. We're going to talk to our buddy Chris Halicke, of course, of DK Pittsburgh Sports, and a regular here with us on the drive. Chris, thank you for taking the time. It's been a busy 24 hours or so here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I want to start with you in the secondary. Darius Slay released. Asante Samuel Jr. promoted from the practice squad to the active roster. Is it safe to say, Chris, because we know they're a little thin in the secondary already, they've dealt with some injuries there, they've had to move Jalen Ramsey to safety, Pierre is in the concussion protocol. I know that Darius Slay's play had regressed as of late, but I think they also have to clearly have some confidence in Asante Samuel Jr. to make a move like this and let Slay go at this juncture at the same time. Is that fair to say?
And, Chris, along those lines, are we getting ahead of ourselves if we say Samuel is a starter?
I don't know if I'd go that far just yet. Now, he may be thrust into the starting lineup if James Pierre doesn't pass concussion protocol.
Right,
so
right.
We may be looking at Samuel as a starter. That being said, I don't know if I'm ready to go there just yet. The Steelers really, really like what James Pierre has done. And for good reason. I mean, he's played really well. I mean, there's a lot to like on what he's done. No, I think right now that you would probably still stick with Porter and Pierre on the outside as your 2 primary corners when you're in, whether it's base or nickel or whatever it is. But they clearly do, to Wes, to your point, they clearly are comfortable enough with what Samuel's done, because as far as I know, and what Terrell Austin has said, they do view Samuel as more of an option on the outside than in the slot. So not saying he won't play in the slot or he's forbidden to play in the slot or anything like that. But
it's not really his game.
Right, exactly. So I do think, I don't know if I'd quite say that he's ready to go be a starter there just yet. But maybe, if Pierre's performance slips a little bit and they really like what they see from Samuel, then maybe those are your 2 starting corners. But right now, I still think they're going to stick with Porter and Pierre there.
Chris, we can still hear you. We're getting like a wonky little connection here. Let me call you back real quick, all right?
Sounds good.
1 second here, partner. All right, let's do this. I really enjoy producing the show on the fly myself, but this is where I got to fill here for just a few seconds until we get our buddy Chris. Here we go. We got him. Hey, Halicke, you got us, buddy.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Sounds better, yep.
Now we're talking. We're talking. All right, fantastic. Thanks, dude.
What do you think of Adam Thielen's situation?
I think it's interesting. Listen, I understand the trepidation over what a receiver can do at age 35, and we're talking almost any receiver at age 35. The list of receivers that have had very, very good productive seasons, Pro Bowl type seasons at that age, it's not a long list. So I understand that, but the couple of things that what it does provide is, number one, it provides good leadership. He was a leader for Minnesota. He was a captain in Minnesota. That helps to have in that locker room. You're not just relying on DK Metcalf. Adam Thielen has some skins on the wall, so that's something that guys can look at when you were talking about Calvin Austin, Roman Wilson, some of the younger guys who need to kind of learn to see what it means to go about the weekly preparation, what it means to pay attention to details of routes and concepts, everything like that. That definitely is something that it's a big benefit for having a guy like that. But then again, I understand he didn't play much in Minnesota this year, but at the same time, this is still a guy who understands the game. He's a smart football player. Him and Aaron Rodgers, while obviously played against each other a lot, previously both being rivals in the NFC North. Aaron Rodgers talked about it today. He knows Adam Thielen very well. He's familiar with him. I'm curious to see how that off the field dynamic might translate to things on the field. So it can't hurt at this point. I think that's probably the best way I could go about it, because right now I think if you look at all the issues on the offensive side of the ball, we could talk about run game, we could talk about personnel usage, all that stuff. I think the biggest issue right now, more than anything, is they just need anybody on the other, like somebody other that's not named DK Metcalf, to get open consistently. Yeah. Because once that happens, if it ever does happen, but once that happens, whether it's Pat Freiermuth out of the tight end spot, whether it's Adam Thielen coming in and running routes crisply and on time, and Aaron can find him, it lightens the load a bit over on Metcalf, where all the coverage is going right now. And then that might also back teams off from pretty much just completely selling out to stop the run. So that, I think, is the primary thing that needs to happen to unlock things offensively.
I think that's well said, and I think we're all kind of in agreement on that. It is Chris Halicke with us here on The Drive on the Steelers Audio Network. Chris, sticking with the offense, how are you feeling about the quarterback situation? It sounds like Aaron Rodgers is going to be good to go again on Sunday. Is there any real merit to the conversation about, a healthy Mason Rudolph might be more viable than a compromised, injured wrist Aaron Rodgers? Or do you kind of like come down on the side of, hey, if this offense is going to get where they need to be, it's going to be with the future Hall of Famer under center?
Yeah, listen, I understand, the whole health thing. I don't think the wrist is the big issue right now. Yeah, you didn't run anything from under center, but is really the reason why the Steelers didn't play well offensively because Aaron Rodgers didn't take one snap from under center? No, that's not the main reason why. It's not. I mean, you can try to make that up. You can try to make it a narrative. That's just not the reason. There are many reasons why, and one of which we just talked about. There's nobody getting open outside of DK Metcalf, and that's a major problem. When it comes to, listen, I'm having a hard time trying to put my finger on exactly the best way to go about okay. Let me start over. Aaron Rodgers is a really, 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 really smart quarterback. He does not get enough credit and I'm saying this like knowing that people know how smart he is before the snap. He still does not get enough credit for everything that he does that does not go into a box score.
Yeah.
Like, he does so many things before the snap. He does so many things on the sideline. He does so many things between series. It's just, there's so much value there. Now, does his play need to get better? Absolutely. His play has not been where it needs to be over the past few weeks. There have been some missed throws. There have been some missed reads. There have been some times where he has gotten, I don't want to say skittish, but he has gotten into this whole, if my first read's there, I'm trying to get out of the pocket and make a play. Like, that kind of stuff has to kind of stop. But at the same time, I do think that if you're going to go where you want to go with this offense, you got to do it with your quarterback that you literally designed to be your starting quarterback. And so if Aaron's healthy enough, and right now he is, then he's got to be the guy.
No easy answers, but our buddy Chris Halicke helping us try and find some here with a lot of questions for the Steelers heading into a huge one in Baltimore this weekend. Chris, buddy, thank you for the time. As always, take care, and we'll talk to you on Sunday.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys.
Always, dude. Thank you. And there he goes, Chris Halicke. And Matt, that'll do it for the show today.
Good stuff. We covered a lot.
Little clarity from him, but again, still, there's just a lot more questions than there are answers.
Yeah.
We're going to start finding some of those out on Sunday, but some of them might even continue to linger all throughout the month of December.
I'm warming up to the corner situation a little bit more and more, too. I just think that reading the tea leaves, they must have some hope for Samuel. And I also think Pierre is playing well, and that's not fake.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's hard not to feel that way about Samuel right now. And I know we've said this, but I continue. Like, I think the last 5-6 weeks, Joey Porter Jr. has been quietly very good.
Same with Eccles.
Yeah, so if you can stabilize that final position,
that'd be nice.
Get back to limiting the run game like you had been doing until James Cook ran wild, I think you're going to be in a much better spot. I know you're going to be in a much better spot. So we'll see if they can get that moving starting Sunday afternoon against those Ratbirds. But that will do it for us today. Thanks to Chris Halicke for joining us. And thanks to our video producer, Mr. TV, Tyler V, for keeping us crisp and handsome and sharp on the YouTube side of things as well. For Matt Williamson, I'm Wes Uhler. Take care, everybody, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. As always, you know where to find us. It's on your 24/7 home of the black and gold. It's Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network.